America throws away around 60 million tons of food every year. And if you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh no, not me, couldn't be me, let me tell you the average household. I got my notes here. The average American household wastes about 6.2 cups of edible food per week, or 322 cups per year. This is the equivalent to about 219 pounds of food per year, or more than 650 apples. Look, I know we're not all perfect, but there are so many ways that you can make a household kitchen work better for you to reduce your waste, become a low waste kitchen, maybe even a zero waste kitchen if you're into that. But before we go into all the ways you can create a zero waste kitchen, my name is Crystalline. You can call me Chris, and we chat all things mind, body, and planet on this corner of the internet. So I hope you stick around. Let's start with food storage solutions. I'm going to show you some of my favorite things that we use in our kitchen, and maybe you'll like them enough to make the swap at some point, or maybe you already have something that can be similar. So let's talk about the amount of plastic that a kitchen typically has. It's a lot, right? From appliances to cookware to utensils, there's just a lot of plastic in everything. So my number one piece of advice, and the best thing I ever did, was switch from plastic containers to glass containers. And while glass containers can be more expensive upfront, they often last way longer than a plastic Tupperware ever could. Now, we still kept our old plastic containers whenever we upgraded to glass containers, but now we use them around the house in ways that make a little bit more sense than storing our food in them. My husband and I like to make our own topper for our dog food with fresh food. We actually use the recipe from the farmer's dog and use their nutrition packet, so highly recommend. Our dogs freaking love it. So we store all of our dog food in those containers because we freeze it, and then throughout the month, whenever we go through a container, we take one out of the freezer. It makes that process a lot easier, and it allows us to keep that fresh food better for longer. However, when it comes to our normal food, any kind of leftovers, or if I'm meal prepping vegetables for the week that are going to be cooked later on in the week, we always use glass containers. Our glass containers have bamboo lids. I personally love them, but there are definitely ones out there that have a plastic lid as well. And I have been told that those are nice because they have a better suction because they clip on down to the bottom. So switching from plastic containers to glass containers is a great way to reduce your waste because the glass is going to last a lot longer than the plastic, which will end up breaking down, and you're gonna have to get rid of it anyways. Pro tip here, if you're not ready to make the full-on switch to a traditional glass Tupperware container, my life hack for you is to save the glass jars that you get from pasta sauces, from peanut butter jars, from just regular salsas and things like that. Save those glass jars and use those for your leftovers. It's 100% free because you already bought the pasta sauce. You use the pasta sauce, and then normally what would you do with that glass container? Probably recycle it if recycling's an option near you. But keeping it and reusing it again as a glass container to slowly make that swap is definitely a way to move away from plastic without breaking the bank. Moving on for food storage solutions, I am a sucker for a reusable Ziploc type bag. I am a hardcore stasher bag lover. I have probably 20 of them. There's so many in my cabinets. We use them all the time. I love those because they are dishwasher safe. So whenever we're done using them, we can throw them in the dishwasher. They don't have to be hand washed. But there are a ton of other brands out there as well. These are great because I haven't bought traditional Ziploc plastic bags in years. I bought maybe one box of plastic Ziploc bags maybe 5 years ago, and we still have them, and we only use them for random things, if we're needing to store seeds or something that's going to last a long time. We use a few plastic Ziploc bags for things like electronic cord storage to help keep things a little bit more organized, but when it comes to our food, we always use our reusable silicone bags. Okay, so this one is fun because it's right next to me, so I'm going to show you them. But these are called food huggers. These are, again, silicone. You might see a little bit of a theme here, if not glass, and we use a lot of silicone in this house, or wood, or metal, actually. These food huggers are great because they come in a bunch of different sizes, a bunch of different colors, so you can kind of pick the one that really calls to you. And for example, if I cut a lemon in half and I'm only going to use half the lemon, I can use these to cover the half of the lemon that I have not used, put it in the fridge without having to use something like plastic wrap. We also have a few of these that are big enough to fit around an aluminum can. So if we have leftover canned peaches, leftover canned vegetables, or tomato sauce or something like that, then we can put these on top of the can, put it in the fridge again without having to dirty another sort of container or without having to use plastic wrap. So those are my 3 things for food storage and organization. Let's move through cleaning and organization in your kitchen. Obviously, paper towels are very common in many households, but I challenge you to think about how you can stop using as many paper towels. Now, it's gonna be hard to cut this habit cold turkey if you have always been a paper towel lover, but there are several swaps out there that I actually feel like get the job done and they actually do it better. Number one, my personal favorite and what we use in my household is a Swedish dishcloth. Now, I know this has a ton of names. I one time went viral saying a Swedish dishcloth on TikTok, and a bunch of Europeans saw it and everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is not a Swedish dishcloth. We have these in insert country name here and we call them something else. So I call them a Swedish dishcloth. That's what I learned them as. And I feel like every time I Google Swedish dishcloth, I get the same result. So I know it's a common phrase. But essentially what they are, it is a rag that can be used over and over again. They're highly absorbent. So if I need to wipe off the counters, for example, after a messy meal, or if I spill something, I can use my Swedish dishcloth. It soaks it up super quick, super easily, and then I can rinse it out. I also love a Swedish dishcloth because I can wash these in the dishwasher with the rest of my dishes and it becomes clean again. This has been my go-to and it has saved me so many paper towels. I swear, probably hundreds of dollars of paper towels. So some people don't like a Swedish dishcloth, to each their own. Another option is what people call an unpaper towel. These are essentially pieces of fabric that people layer onto a cardboard roll so it looks like a paper towel, but it's not actually the disposable paper towels that you would like rip off. But you still get the same like habit of peeling off a piece of that fabric like you would a paper towel, cleaning up your counters, and then instead of throwing it away, what you would do is maybe put like a basket under your counter or something to catch it. Then you would wash them and then re-roll them up whenever they're all washed and clean and then reuse them that way. So I know some people that really love an unpaper towel because the feeling like sensitivities, like the way things feel on your hand, some people like that better. And some people think it fits their habits better if you are a paper towel lover, but I'm a Swedish dishcloth girl through and through. When it comes to dishes, there are definitely a lot of options as well. Obviously, a kitchen dish sponge is what is most popular. There are definitely eco alternatives to a dish sponge that is compostable after you're done with it, if that's something that you prefer. However, I once was gifted by some family members compostable wooden brushes, and I love them. I love them so much. This is another one within grabbing distance, so I'm going to show you right here. What I love about this is that the top head can be replaced, and once this is off, it's all natural, so you can compost the top. We're really lucky. Our city offers a city organic waste bin, so I can just throw it in there rather than having to actually compost it like in my backyard with pet worms, and it makes it nice. If this gets old, starts to maybe get a little crusty, maybe it's just you're not scrubbing as well, you can replace the head and then keep the wooden metal like handle part of it for years to come. I think I've had this for maybe 3 or 4 years now, and it's still in great condition. I just replaced the head. There are options like this that are more of a bottle brush with the bristles that are a little bit more scrubbier. There are ones that are more handheld without the handle. They're just a little bit smaller and have like a knob that you would hold the bristle at top. There's a lot of options here, but I think a compostable dish cleaner brush is one of my favorite swaps that we've made in my household. Okay, another thing for cleaning and organization. Let's talk about how to avoid food waste by properly storing your fruits and vegetables. Too many times we go to a store, we pick up some fresh produce, and then we kind of forget about it. We never prep it. It goes to the back of the fridge. You leave it on your counter for too long, and then you can't even eat it because it's gone bad, it's mushy, it's molded, it's whatever it is, and you can't even use it anymore. My suggestion for you, and this one's easy, this is just a quick little habit change. It's nothing you have to buy or swap out. Whenever you get back home from the grocery store, carve out a little bit of time to prep those foods so that way they are less likely to go to waste. For example, if you buy an onion for a specific recipe you want to try out, then prep that onion the night that you get home from the grocery store. Prep it on the Monday before you have to do that recipe. Just carve out a little bit of time to chop it up the way you need it. Because if I know anything, it's that day of come the recipe and you're in your kitchen and you're prepping, the last thing you want to do is actually go through and mince an onion or mince some garlic or peel a potato, and then you end up using like the alternative spice like onion powder or garlic powder, because I've been there, because I get lazy and I forget that I want to do a recipe on a weeknight, and then the weeknight comes along and I'm like, oh, That was silly of me. But anytime I prep my food, it makes my life so much easier to know I can just go in my fridge, grab the container that has the minced garlic, and use as much as I want in my dish that night. You're actually going to use that food. It will not go to waste, and that is amazing. My last little section for creating a low waste to zero waste kitchen is going to fall under your pantry and your shopping habits. Number one is definitely utilize a bulk section. Not every grocery store has one, but there are usually at least 1 to 2 grocery stores near your town, depending on what city you live in, that would offer a bulk section. So what I see is my local places usually have a bulk section that has grains, it has nuts, it has granola, things like that. So utilize those sections as much as possible. I'm really lucky. My local grocery store down the road just got renovated and they actually added in a bulk spices section. So it makes it awesome because anytime I need extra spices, I don't have to buy like a whole little jar when I already had one at home. I can just refill the jar I have with the bulk spice section. So take advantage of any bulk sections that you have. Now, a lot of bulk sections have regulations. You can't actually bring your own container to tear it out whenever you fill things up. You have to use the plastic bags. So some hacks there, you can reuse the same plastic bag, just bring it back every time. Find a way to reuse that bag later on. And of course, if it is a store you are familiar with, you can always ask one of the employees if there is a way to at some point bring your own container to refill rather than always having to use the plastic bags that they offer. Or look around because sometimes instead of plastic, they also have paper bags that you can opt for as well. Also, when it comes to shopping, you can bring reusable bags. Now, this is not new. A lot of people know about reusable shopping bags. I love these ones from Lotus Trolley Bag. I've had them for a long time, and I put them in my shopping cart to separate and organize all of my foods as I'm grocery shopping. And I always get stopped by either employees in the store or people who are shopping as well. And they're like, oh my gosh, what are those bags? And I get to tell them, and it's always really fun. So I love me my reusable bags. That way things stay a little bit more organized. They hold a lot more food. I don't have to worry about a paper bag ripping, and I don't have to worry about what am I gonna do with all of these plastic shopping bags after I get home. They also offer reusable bags specifically designed for produce that are more mesh, so they have a lot of breathability within those bags. I highly recommend those as well instead of using the like little bags, because those little produce bags that are plastic at many grocery stores, like you can't even reuse them afterwards. The plastic is so thin. I don't even really like using them. So anyways, and also, fun fact, you don't even have to use those bags. I know people make it look like you have to use those plastic produce bags. You don't. You don't. All right, my last tip for you is find a way to label your pantry so you know the expiration dates pretty easily. Whether it's going through your pantry and when things are getting close to the expiration date, you move them closer to the front so you know to use them faster, or if you have a label maker and there's a way for you to put labels on each of your products. One thing that I love, if I am putting things in my glass containers, I actually have what is called a wine glass marker. I'll pull them out for you. I got gifted a pack of these wine glass markers years ago. They're still kicking, and I use them not only for wine glass markers so you can tell whose wine glass is who, but I also use them to write expiration dates and any sort of labels, or sometimes I'll write down like, this is a shallot that I meal prepped earlier in the week. I cut it on X date, so I know exactly like when I meal prepped that shallot. So finding a way to label products so you know exactly how long they're gonna last is definitely helpful as well. This is definitely a problem I struggle with when it comes to condiments. I think sometimes a condiment bottle is so big and I only want it for a specific recipe, or I don't really use that condiment and I just had a specific need for it, and it ends up sitting in my fridge and I never finish it. So when I label expiration dates on them and I know, okay, I have 3 months to use up this ranch before it goes bad, then I can get a little bit more creative in my recipes when I am prepping for the week and buying my groceries to know, okay, I'm gonna use this ranch so I can finish it up. Those are all of my main tips on how you can have a more eco-friendly kitchen. They're all tips that I utilize. I totally stand by every single one, but I'm sure I'm missing something. So if there's something that I missed, let me know down in the comments. If there's something that you're excited to try, also let me know as well. I'm very curious. Not only are all of these things eco-friendly, but they're also super cost-effective to save you money. The environmental impact can be huge, even if it feels like you're the only one who's doing it, but I encourage you to keep it up. Keep on slowly making these swaps, slowly making these habit changes, and you will actually be surprised by how ingrained these eco-friendly habits and tips can really become ingrained into your life. Okay, what do you think? Do you feel like a low waste or a zero waste kitchen is achievable? Let me know. I hope to see you guys in the next video. If you want to see more, always you can subscribe and also like this video so the algorithm knows to push it out to more people. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!